backing initially. So that is what we call diplomacy. They're all backing now to be able to discuss better. Nobody has any reason or any advantage to go to any form of war, and I say any form of war.
But why? Thank you. But why Niger, where we have military rule in Mali,
yes,
in Guinea, in the present one in Guinea is transitional.
Yes. Burkina Faso. Yes.
Burkina Faso.
Yes. And Chad as well.
And Chad.
Yes.
Why? And even in Chad, the former president Deby. Now the son is still there. Now why the Wulabalu about Niger? Or could it be because of the change in power that just took place in Nigeria? Why?
Well, probably yes. There are two parts to that answer. You've already answered one. Yes, okay. I think probably because the new man in Nigeria, and who also is the president of ECOWAS, chairman of ECOWAS, feels that this is one coup too many. As in, we've had succession of coups, but this one is too many, and this one is too near to begin to to begin to change our mentality or give us a different mindset. First thing first, it will definitely affect the north of Nigeria more. Nigeria has over 1,500 kilometers of border. Remember, we talked about this a few months ago. We have 1,500 kilometers of border with Niger. I'm talking of land border. It means people can walk in from anywhere. There's no way you will man 1,500 kilometers. Even if you put one soldier in every kilometer, you won't be able to do much. No. That's just how to tell you how big the problem is. Then we have social and cultural links with Niger. Nigerians and Nigerians were closer to each other even before our country was created, by religion, by ethnicity, by language, and by business. Nigerians, Kanuri Nigerians, Fulani Nigerians, and Hausa Nigerians are already related more to Nigerians than they are related to Igbos. And this is because that is how that area is composed. So there are more reasons for ECOWAS to be careful now, because again, that spillover effect. My brother, take a look at the map now. Anybody who is at home, take a look at the map. If Niger falls to military rule and Chad is already in military rule, what is the country in between them? It's Nigeria.
It's Nigeria, that's it.
So there are more reasons for us to be more careful. It does not mean that we should go straight out for intervention. I'm saying being careful, being aware, being attentive is a very right thing to do right now, so that we can stop that stem of coup and takeovers.
Okay, good one. So what confidence, because an ultimatum was given and still the military rule didn't still subside, or they didn't even relinquish power. Now what confidence does the military ruler in Niger have? I'm looking at when ECOWAS saying that they are going to intervene or military intervention, and I say ECOWAS does not have a standing army.
No, it doesn't.
So let us discuss this. What confidence does the junta? What confidence do they have? And looking at the fact that ECOWAS does not even have a standing army.
Well, I must tell you something. The worst thing you can do is to go into a military intervention against a country like Niger. First thing is far bigger. You don't know where you start, you don't know where you end. Second thing is the consequences are directly on us. The set of refugees will come straight to Nigeria. Oh yes, you will have 500,000 people walking straight to Nigeria, and they look like Nigerians. You will have to identify who is a Nigerian and who is a Nigerian. That I leave you to do that when you are free, and you will find out how many you find out with NIN, with no NIN, with passport. No, that's the first thing. And then when it comes to an armed conflict, it is not out of point that this Nigerian military government can arm civilians to come and fight. That is when you will know that Nigerians are ready to fight, of which I'm not sure we are ready to fight. No. I'm talking of non-military actors now. Because the soldiers are soldiers. Their army is nothing to consider about. There are probably 40,000 soldiers, and then maybe only 30,000 can fight, because it's not because they have 40,000 soldiers. They do have an air force, by the way, so they don't have a navy. So that's what the Nigerian army has. But they will be able to mobilize 2 million people when it's time to fight for their country. They are more Republican, they are more patriotic, blindly, I would say, to some extent blindly, but it goes in their favor. We cannot count for that, because except the people in the north of northern Nigeria will not necessarily fight Nigerians. And like I told you, they have cultural interlinks between them. They marry between them and all that. They trade between them. So they don't have. And why will you send the Yoruba man or the Igbo man to go and fight in Nigeria, where he's not going to come out from? He's not going to come out alive. Doesn't speak the language. Doesn't understand what's going on there. So we have more difficulties on our side. Then I must correct the notion here that is Nigeria fighting against Niger. No, Nigeria is not fighting against Niger. It is going to be the ECOWAS stand force going to implement one of the treaties of ECOWAS, which is that the people should determine their government and military should be back in the barracks. So it will not be if there will be a conflict, it will not be a war as such, as in you attack me, I attack you, you bombard me. No. Okay. We're not going to do any military air interventions. We're not going to bombard Niamey. It's not going to look like that. It is more like a force of ECOWAS that would go and try to implement that thing of that transition thing. Military government should be transition. That means what we are waiting for them to say in real time so that people understand is to say, look, we have taken over. We want to have elections by January 2024. That's the example we're looking for. Look at President Bazoum. He's okay here. He's going to be a president in exile until those elections take place. Look, we have disbanded political parties, but we allow people to now start campaigning and form brand new political parties. Look at the constitution has been restored. Things like that is what ECOWAS is waiting for them to do. Not that ECOWAS is saying tomorrow morning we are going to take over, kill the soldiers and install Bazoum. No, it's not going to work. No. You will meet Nigerians on the road that will fight you back. So we are not going that way. It's going to be bloody.
Okay, good one. And they say do not die in their war. Would you think that foreign nations, Nigeria being the chairman of ECOWAS, would you say that is as if we have our own problems and we still trying to poke our nose into the affairs of probably what does not really concern us? How does the military coup in Niger, how does it affect Nigeria?
Oh, of course it does. A country has internal and external problems. These are one of the problems that fall under external. It is not because we have our own internal problems that we don't care anymore about what happens externally. After all, we went to Ukraine to bring our students back when the war started in Ukraine. After all, it's on your news when Hawaii burnt and then over 100 people died. Why are we interested in that? We should not even show it on our news if that's the case. So when there is an earthquake in somewhere in Japan, why are we interested? No. Foreign policy is different. We are ECOWAS. We are the biggest contributor to ECOWAS because ECOWAS funds come from taxation, mostly taxation through movement of goods within ECOWAS. We have an interest to create either a single currency or our currencies attached to a single currency like ECU. We have an advantage to do that because more trade, more money, more wealth is created and more people come out from poverty. Those things affect us. The only reason why President Tinubu is more interested in Niger is because it's just our backdoor neighbor, so to say. Not actually backdoor, but upwards. It's just our neighbor. That is the only reason. So it's not as if because it's in Niger and there's a military situation that we should forget. And what he is thinking, and I'm just guessing this, is that he's saying if it lasts long, it can become a dictatorship. But if the military junta announce a calendar of going back to civilian rule, which everybody wishes for, I think ECOWAS will step down a little bit their pressure. But for now, don't forget, the US has stopped the aid they give to Niger. They give a lot of military and financial aid. The French have done that. The EU has suspended theirs as well. What it means that in the next 6 months, we are going to collect 500,000 refugees from Niger who are hungry and who need to eat. My brother, that is a problem for us.
But these countries, these power blocs, also withdrew support from Russia.
Yes.
And Russia is still surviving.
Oh, yes.
These nations, Niger and other nations under military rule, are supported by Russia. So they could still. Do you think the support from Russia could be enough to sustain these nations?
Okay, let me just clarify something. The notion that we give out, they are not supported by Russia.
Okay.
That should be very clear. Officially, Russia is not supporting any of this.
Okay.
Yes, and we're only talking officially here. Whatever happens at the back door, we don't know. Russia does not support them. What Russia has always been saying is that he's saying let's look for peaceful means to find the solution. What you actually wanted to say is that those countries like Burkina Faso and Mali are using the Wagner group. This is a mercenary group. And they're the same group that tried to do a coup in Russia.
Exactly.
So you see, so let us not mix it up. Wagner group is a private group run by soldiers, former mercenaries and whatever, who are being paid. They are being paid. I think this should be clear. They are being paid in resources or in dollars to do what they are doing in Mali. Because the Malian government a few years back have recovered their interest with French. They drove the French out, both the military and even the ambassador and everybody. And so now they are working directly with Wagner Group. So that is not Russia.
Okay.
That's not officially Russia.
Okay.
So I'll come back to your real question was how come Russia is surviving with the embargo, and then why will it not happen in Niger?
Okay.
Russia has all this Russian bloc, the Soviet bloc are still with them. Kazakhstan, Belarus, and Moldavia, and all that. They are still with them. So trade is still going on illegally with Iran as well. So trade is still going on. That's fine. These are big countries. Niger, the first neighbor to Niger is Nigeria. Going up, the next neighbor is Libya or Algeria. These countries are already in crisis themselves. Where are you going to get? What is going to go on is that, like every embargo, contraband will flourish. You know how it works. But it is not enough to cover the society. Niger has been living on US aid for over 20 years. They have been living on French aid. I'm talking of billions of dollars now. So when those things are not there, trust me, you will see camels coming into Nigeria. Okay. It's going to be a lot of poverty around too.
Thank you so much, Mr. Alex Okonkwo. It's been a very fruitful discussion and analysis here, and I know and I'm sure that our listener are really enjoying the analysis. So